Thank you, Julie. And thank you all for joining us for this important discussion about our economic recovery from the pandemic. As this group knows very well, we're now contending with the collision of two events: the spread of the Delta variant and the expiration of the nation's eviction moratorium. Obviously, we do not want people to lose the roofs over their heads amid a new wave of the virus. That would not only complicate our efforts to stop the spread, it would also complicate people's lives for years. We know that when the foundations of people's lives fall apart, when they lose their home, for example, that pain tends to follow them forever. Studies show that being evicted is correlated with lower lifetime earnings and more frequent trips to the ER. Eviction leads to worse learning outcomes for children who have to be pulled out of schools. And of course, it also leads to increased rates of homelessness. We call all this economic scarring. We're taking an all-of-government approach to prevent this scarring. When the Supreme Court struck down the CDC's eviction moratorium 2 weeks ago, I wrote a letter with Attorney General Garland and HUD Secretary Fudge. We encourage governors, mayors, and judges across the country to put in place their own eviction moratoria where legally possible. Some, like Mayor Kim Janey of Boston, did, and I know she's with us today. About 47% of the country's renters are now living in places with some state or local measure in place to stop evictions. That's significant coverage, but it still leaves millions of Americans in jeopardy of being evicted. The clock is ticking, and the people you'll hear from today are working quickly to help renters and landlords get back on their feet. We're fortunate to have a very potent tool in this effort, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Prior to the pandemic, there was essentially no national infrastructure to get money from government coffers to renters and landlords. Building that infrastructure has been a massive undertaking, both by our team at Treasury and by a constellation of state and local governments. We're starting to see it scale now. As of July 31st, state and local grantees had made about 1 million rental payments and spent more than $5 billion in ERA program funding. It's welcome progress, but we also know it's not enough. Too many renters and landlords are stuck in limbo. According to public dashboards, hundreds of thousands of assistance applications have been received, but not yet paid out. I want you to know we're doing everything we can to expedite the delivery of these funds. Our department has taken a very large pair of scissors to any red tape. We eliminated the need for unduly burdensome documentation on the part of landlords or renters. We know not everyone has a formal lease or can easily get proof of their income. We're encouraging all rental assistance programs to accept self-certification from applicants about their financial hardship, income, or risk of homelessness. And we're doing everything we can to ensure that eviction is never a first resort. In fact, when Attorney General Garland, Secretary Fudge, and I sent that letter to states and communities, we urged them to put in place guidelines ensuring eviction was only a last resort. People facing eviction should first have the opportunity to apply for rental assistance and be protected while their application is processing. Many states and localities are making use of this flexibility, and you'll hear from some of them shortly. But now we need everyone, every state and every community to try to match this spirit of urgency and expediency and to take advantage of the flexibility we're providing. because frankly, not everyone is. Indeed, Treasury has reminded states and localities that if their program is not working by the end of September, the funds can begin to be reallocated to programs that are working. While our strong preference is for each jurisdiction to use the full amount of its original ERA allocation, our goal is to ensure these funds reach people in need as Congress intended. We'll have more to share as we approach that September 30th date. And with that, let me hand things over to Jean Sperling, who's coordinating the implementation of COVID relief across the administration. Thanks.